You did everything you were told to do. You cut carbs, tracked every calorie, and pushed yourself on the treadmill until your legs felt like they might give out. Logic says the weight should be dropping. The numbers say you're in a deficit. But when you look in the mirror, that layer around your midsection is still there, stubborn, softer, almost like it's settling in for good. The truth is, this isn't about discipline. It's not that you haven't tried hard enough. You're up against an ancient survival mechanism, quiet but incredibly precise. It doesn't care about your weight loss goals. It only cares about one thing: whether you're safe. Your body doesn't read diet plans. It reads signals. And when those signals look like stress, lack of sleep, and constant restriction, it draws a simple conclusion: something is wrong. In that state, burning fat is not a priority. Holding on to it is. Visceral fat, the kind that sits deep in your abdomen, is not like the fat on your arms or legs. It behaves more like an organ. It's highly sensitive to cortisol, your primary stress hormone. Imagine these fat cells as antennas. They don't just receive stress signals, they amplify them. When stress rises, cortisol rises. Those antennas pick it up and respond by storing more energy. But here's where it turns into a loop. As visceral fat grows, it sends signals back into the body, pushing cortisol even higher. A self-sustaining cycle. The more stressed you are, the more fat you store. The more fat you store, the more stressed your body becomes. That's why some people eat very little, yet still carry belly fat. It's not because they're doing everything wrong. It's because their body is stuck in crisis mode. When cortisol stays elevated for too long, your body shifts into preservation mode. It assumes you're in a famine or constantly under threat. And in that state, burning stored fat would be a risk, so it locks it away. You might think, I eat clean, my insulin must be low. But biology isn't that simple. Even if you eat zero sugar, your body can still make its own. Your liver is like a chemical factory. When cortisol spikes, it sends a message: we need fuel now. Your liver responds by creating glucose from amino acids and other substrates. This process is called gluconeogenesis. So you wake up after fasting all night, you haven't eaten anything, and yet your blood sugar is elevated. Your pancreas reacts by releasing insulin to manage that glucose. Now you have high cortisol and high insulin at the same time, while fasting. And since insulin is the master switch that shuts down fat burning, you're effectively locked out of losing fat. You're running on sugar your body made, while your fat stores stay sealed. What makes this even more frustrating is that some healthy habits are actually feeding this cycle. Take long, steady cardio. It looks productive. People jog for an hour, sweat pouring, heart rate up, feeling like they're doing the right thing. But your body doesn't interpret it as exercise. It interprets it as a long journey without food. To survive, it raises cortisol. If you repeat that daily without proper recovery, cortisol never returns to baseline. It becomes your new normal. At the same time, your body starts breaking down muscle for fuel. Less muscle means a slower metabolism. You burn fewer calories even at rest. And that elevated cortisol keeps pushing fat storage right into your abdomen. You may get lighter, but also softer, weaker, and metabolically slower. A perfect trap. Then there's aggressive fasting. Fasting can be powerful, but only when your body feels stable. If you're already stressed, underslept, and then you force 20 or 24 hours without food, you're not resetting anything. You're overwhelming your system. Your body sees it as confirmation of scarcity. Thyroid function slows down. Energy drops. Your hands and feet feel cold, and that visceral fat becomes the last reserve your body refuses to touch. You're not burning fat. You're just exhausted and underfed. And then there's the most overlooked factor: sleep. You might be in bed for 8 hours, but that doesn't mean your body is truly resting. If you're waking up at 2 or 3 a.m., suddenly alert, mind racing, that's not random. It's a stress response. During the night, your blood sugar naturally drops. If your system isn't flexible or your stress is already high, it can drop too fast. Your brain senses danger. It thinks it's running out of fuel, so it hits the alarm. Adrenaline and cortisol surge. Your liver releases glucose, and that surge is what wakes you up. You're not just awake, you're in a fight or flight state in the middle of the night, and the cost is high. You miss deep sleep, where growth hormone is released. This hormone is critical for fat burning and recovery. Instead, your night becomes a cycle of cortisol and insulin fluctuations. You wake up feeling puffy, holding water, and primed to store more belly fat. So how do you break out of this? Not by doing more, but by doing the right things. Your body doesn't need force, it needs reassurance. You need to send a clear signal. You are safe. Start with how you move. Replace long cardio sessions with short walks after meals. 10 to 15 minutes, steady and relaxed. When muscles contract, they can pull glucose directly from the bloodstream without needing insulin. That keeps blood sugar stable and reduces the need for large insulin spikes. It's not about burning calories, it's about stabilizing your internal environment. Next is sleep. If you're waking up in the middle of the night, try a simple strategy. A teaspoon of raw honey with a pinch of high-quality sea salt before bed. It sounds counterintuitive, but physiologically, it provides a small, steady source of liver glycogen. That helps prevent the nighttime blood sugar crash. No crash means no adrenaline spike. No spike means uninterrupted sleep. And deep sleep is where fat loss actually happens. For intensity, add short bursts of effort. Sprint for 15 to 20 seconds, then fully rest. Do this once or twice a week. This kind of movement sends a different signal. It's not chronic stress, it's controlled intensity. It can significantly boost growth hormone, which naturally counteracts cortisol. It supports muscle building and helps reduce visceral fat. Then look at how you eat. If you're fasting, your eating window has to be meaningful. You can't fast all day and then barely eat. Prioritize protein. It not only keeps you full, but also stimulates glucagon, a hormone that works against insulin. When your body senses enough protein, it interprets that as abundance. It becomes willing to build instead of store. And finally, there's something you can't measure with numbers, but it might be the most powerful lever of all: your emotional state. Cortisol and oxytocin exist in balance. When one rises, the other falls. Oxytocin is the hormone of safety, connection, and trust. And you can activate it in under a minute, through genuine gratitude. Not just saying thank you, but actually feeling it. Pausing long enough to let that emotion settle in your body. Your heart rate shifts. Your nervous system changes state. Cortisol drops. You're not just thinking differently, you're changing your chemistry. And when you do this before meals or before sleep, the effect compounds. Digestion improves. Sleep deepens. Your body shifts from survival mode into recovery mode. And that's the key. This was never a calorie problem, it's a hormonal knot. When the body no longer feels threatened, it stops defending fat. When cortisol drops, those antennas in visceral fat lose their signal. The cycle breaks. Energy returns. Your mind clears. And slowly, that stubborn waistline begins to change. Not because you did more, but because you finally learned how to speak your body's language.